In the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord. In Amen we think, in Amen we trust, and in Amen we will continue forward forever as the 144,000 within the Republic of Mentellect. Good evening. This is your host, Indira Mendez, on Mentellect Radio, and today's date is April 12, 2018, on a Thursday evening. And tonight's topic is going to be about masterminds versus master manipulators. Please be advised that this is a 30 to 45 minute talk show, so you all can stay tuned. So once again, going back to the topic in itself is called masterminds versus master manipulators. So the first thing that I want to talk about is understanding that there are two different types of minds. One that will be mastered and programmed, and one that will master life and all its trivial pursuits. I give you an example. We have the Republic of Mentellect, whereas we are trying to master, the mind in terms of perfecting ourselves and focusing on the future and not getting caught up in the three-dimensional, world and things like that in particular. Just giving a, brief example. Okay, and then like I said, you have those that have been mastered and programmed to whereas they're not really in control of, their own thoughts or, how to think or whatever the case might be. They're not taught how to think. They are taught to believe, certain things and believe that, certain ideologies or beliefs are the way that it is and things like that. And they grow up in that way of life. So that causes them to be programmed mentally. Okay, so these people, the people that are in control of those people, the minds that they are in control of have mastered their minds, meaning they have mastered their subconscious along with their conscious mind in particular. Okay, so this is something to be mindful of. Now, like I said, when you go back to the person that has mastered life and its trivial pursuits, usually they are mastered the conscious and the subconscious level where they are in control of that and they know how to think and not what to think. Okay, so now this is how you define a powerful, how powerful, masterminds can be. The people that master the minds of others and people that are able to, be mentally strong and be in control of their own thoughts, their subconscious and conscious level. It's very powerful from different spectrums of the rim. Okay, when you have someone where you can control them, mentally control their life and everything, how they think or whatever, that has some form of power because you have power over that person in particular. And then the person that had power over their own thoughts, they are able to think and they are not they're not manipulated, they're not influenced, by other people or whatever the case might be. They come with their own pure thought and their own mind. You know how there's a saying when people say, that person have a mind of their own. They might say those things because that person is a thinking person in particular. Okay, they don't just go off of belief or go off what they see and things like that. Okay, they usually question what question past beyond the illusion or whatever is presented to them, and they usually are able to come up with those answers opposed to people that are programmed and going along with the flow, going along to get along with the flow of things and not really living but trying to live. So this is what I mean in particular about the different spectrums of masterminds in particular. Okay, now moving along to understanding the difference between a mind that has been mastered and a mastered mind. As I briefly said, how on a very minute level of how people can be controlled by another person, whereas their thoughts, the way they live, their whole lifestyle is controlled by another person, or whatever the case might be, is usually governed by, whoever is in authority, whoever's in power, whatever the case might be. Okay, I explained that very briefly, but to get more in depth with it, a mind that has been either destroyed or conquered is usually under the control of another person. Okay, so it's not just from being born, you born into a certain particular belief or whatever the case might be. And, a lot of times you got the parents, they don't know. So sometimes they adulterate the children's mind, meaning they not allowing the child to learn how to think. They usually causing or influence that child on what to think or what to believe in, and they don't really have any thoughts of their own. They will try to, choose a, preference or whatever the case might be, but that's as far as it will go in terms of the development of the child in particular. And then you got the parent in themselves that are ignorant and don't know much about anything, are usually their whole mindset and everything has been conquered. Now, destruction only come by way of the person causing or allowing themselves to self-destruct. For example, you might have some people that may drink, smoke, or hang out with the wrong crowd or whatever the case might be, and their life just spiraling out of control, and they don't know how to have some type of control over their life. They are usually possessed by demonic energy and things like that, and they just basically going down the wrong path in particular. They don't have no sense of direction on where to go. They feel lost, they feel empty, and these people can either have nothing, or these people can have everything that they ever wanted, but still have that sense of emptiness inside. So usually that's a form of being destroyed some type of way, something that's of substance, especially if you are a so-called black person and you have a soul, and that soulful part of you is gone. You will feel that void, you will feel that emptiness, and you will always feel like something is missing in particular. So that's a form of self-destruction and you being destroyed, because you cannot get your soul back. For those who have sold their souls, and they are forever lost, and even those who have been programmed in a part of the whole agenda of being annihilated as a race of people, so-called black people. When you're a part of the program, or whatever the case might be, you allowing yourself to be self-destruct. And particularly, you may think that you're living, you may think that everything that you're choosing is on your own, but it's really not. Your thoughts, your choices that you choose to make is really influenced by, another, agenda, by another person in particular. Okay, I know some people might say, who's she talking about? Just the whole thing, the media, everything that's being pushed, that's causing, some form of degeneracy, and it's not really, bringing no type of solution, or not even extending you per se into the future, and you just got this whole mindset of, loving everybody, or feeling that everybody should be equal and things like that. When you have that type of mindset, then it's like, you will never allow yourself to reach that level of supremacy, to where you are actually, not just living, but you are reaping the benefit of, having that pure, way of life. Okay, so this is what I mean in particular. Now, moving along to the person with a mastermind. This type of mind is in control, and they take ownership of his or her life. Okay, now taking ownership of your life, yes, it's good that you try to find means to take care of yourself. You might have a job, you might even go to getting married to someone, or whatever the case might be. But then when that just becomes it, and nothing else is beyond that, then you have to question that. So I'm not necessarily talking about for those who are locked in that three-dimensional world, who feels as though they taking ownership of their lives. they feel like they're working, they doing something, or they going to school, whatever the case might be. At the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, what's next? What's next? What you're going to do? For those who take ownership of their lives and know where they want to be 5 or 10 years from now, or whatever the case might be, and they are executing those goals and those ideas, and they take actual ownership of, they're very conscious of their environment, aware, the subconscious, conscious, and things like that. These are the people that I'm talking about in particular, that are in control of their life and their mind. They're not told what to think. They're not easily influenced. They're not easily manipulated by someone else. They are mentally strong people, to whereas they can, think on their own, and they can think fast, or whatever the case might be, or whatever the situation may be. They are able to think outside of the box, okay? They are able to extend their thoughts futuristically. You got people, you ask somebody what do they think about something, they'll be quick to tell you they don't know, or whatever the case might be. They don't know, or don't even have no thoughts of explanation, or bringing something that will bring life or spark a conversation. You got those types of people that do that. And those are the type of people where you either got to tell them what to do, or you got to tell them how to think, or whatever the case might be. No, not even how, but what to think. In order for them to believe, and then try to at least have some way of how to think or how to be. And 9 times out of 10, they are led by their emotions of how to think, okay, which is not really stable. Okay, when you thinking with your emotions and not with logic, it's not cool. Okay, so now usually for those who are their minds have been conquered in some type of way by another person, they are told what to do and how to do it. Okay, how to maintain emotional instability, like going back to them making decisions based off their emotions and not just logic in particular. They are told what to think based off of scenarios or situations that might be right or wrong or polar opposites from each other. They are told what to think in particular about that. Okay, it's not necessarily, it doesn't even matter if it's right or wrong, or if it has some type of form of law and order behind it. And when I say law and order, I'm not just talking about the court law and order, like being lawful in particular, as in, okay, reaping some type of production at the end of everything, or a result at the end of it. If it's not bringing about a solution other than the fact of it just being based on one's emotions, then it's really not in alignment with law and order at all. Okay, and when I say order has, like I said, when you produce something step by step, that's in an orderly fashion where you're going to get a result at the end of the day. That's the solution. Law is as in, this is how it is, this is how it's going to be, and this is what you got to follow going forward, as a way of life, something that can be extended and expanded into the future, that's going to benefit you, not stagnate you to where you bring about a law, you enforce a law, and it's just limited to a situation or circumstance because of a like or dislike, okay, or trying to reach some type of equality, in particular, is not what I mean by that. Okay, so now moving along to the fact of the person that's in control of their own thoughts and their mind. They know how to think, what to do. They are definitely in alignment with law and order. They understand that, they respect it, okay, and they know how to go through life, not just with their emotions, thinking with their emotions, but thinking with pure logic. Okay, they non-emotional. When it comes down to making decisions, they not non-emotional towards certain things. Okay, and then they know how to apply logic and focus. They know how to do that, and they know what to acknowledge and not so much of what to believe. They know what to acknowledge. They're very observant. They know how to see things for what it is and beyond just the surface of what's presented to them. Okay, opposed to the person who's told what to think and how to think, where they are, led to have this sense of maintaining their emotional instability of likes and dislikes or whatever, or feeling privileged or entitled to certain things. This false sense of pride, okay, is what these people will have in particular. Okay, now moving along to the power of masterminds. Now, what are the attributes of a mastermind? And I'm not talking about the minds that have been conquered and programmed. A mastermind, okay? Masterminds understand that they are leaders, builders with a master plan. Okay, these people are thinkers with logic and a purpose. Okay, and they are pioneers of the future, and they master life, as I said before, in all trivial pursuits. This is the attributes of people that are masterminds. Okay, they don't look to take away from other people and not give anything back in return. They don't look to use people as in use you to where you cannot be used anymore. You're worthless at the end of the day. These types of people with masterminds, they look for the best in people and they bring out nothing but the best in that person, and that's it. Okay, opposed to master manipulators, they will use you until you are no longer useful and you become worthless. Okay, this is what manipulators do, which I'm going to talk about later on in the broadcast. But I want to focus on that, okay, because going back to the person, like I said, I'm going to break it down, the mastermind, the power of masterminds. When you have people that are able to lead and build, they have a master plan, meaning the typical and average person that live their daily life, their 9-to-5 job or whatever the case might be, will not even think with the capacity of a person that can actually put something together and bring something about as a result of the plan that they made. Being a mastermind, a dynamic person in particular, where you have people that be like, wow, I never thought of that before. Okay? These are people that will end up taking nothing and making something out into it. Okay? They know how to be builders. And a lot of times you got some people that are genius. They are also masterminds or beyond just master of the minds. They are good at whatever it is that they do in particular. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to make more emphasis on the fact of a person that has a mastermind, the attributes of a mastermind. Okay, and then when I talked about how they are also builders, they know how to build things. They know how to bring about, things like results, production, and things like that. That's going to be useful futuristically, not just monetary, but for the future. Okay, they know how to think with that extended thought. Okay, and expand it. Okay, beyond the average mind or believing mind. Okay, and then they are thinkers with logic and purpose. They don't think with their emotions. It's not about emotions. It's not about the person's personal life or anybody else's personal life. It's about bringing about that master plan, executing it, and bringing it into effect, and making sure that it's productive futuristically. That's what it's all about with a person that is a mastermind. Okay, they are always thinking. And logic, they have to apply things. Things have to however way they think, it has to be step by step. And of course, a mastermind operate with law and order in particular. Okay, because without law and order, they know that whatever plan that they have will never be effective and efficient in the future. So this is why they apply law and order to, the decisions and plans that they make, because it's very imperative and important, even down to the genius. You have geniuses, people that are very smart, that they make sacrifice of their social life to focus on what it is that they need to do. That is in alignment with law and order. Okay, because they know if they hang out with friends, they're not going to reap the result of whatever it is that they need to perfect themselves in, or extend their thought in that particular field that they are, a genius in or smart at. Okay, so this is what I want to bring to the surface of a mastermind. Okay, and then, like I said, they are pioneers of the future. They bring about things that are new, that nobody, like I said, never thought about doing or producing in the future. Okay, and then, like I said, they mastered life and they mastered trivial pursuits. Trivial pursuits will pertain to three-dimensional things, which consist of people, places, and possessions. Okay, they beyond that, beyond the whole, dying, trying to live, and the struggling. They beyond that that mentality. Okay, so now moving along to the pinnacle of the topic, the versatile from the mastermind. So we're going to get into the master manipulators. Okay, now I know some of you are thinking, what is a master manipulator? Now, a master manipulator is a person that has mastered the art of conning people. Okay, they are known to be con artists or manipulators or just deceivers, and the list can go on. These people live for that. Okay, I don't care if it's even down to family members. Sometimes they can be that way without even knowing that they being that way. Okay, that they are being manipulative. Three emotions, where this whole world, whereas if you are conquered mentally, you got people playing on your emotions. Okay, where you can't even think straight. You don't even know what to think sometimes, or sometimes you don't even know what's right from wrong or wrong from right. That's the trickery behind, master manipulators. And like I said, it comes down to the your family members. Okay, and usually master manipulators are persuasive and try to be convincing to other people, and they start off with preying on the belief of other people, and then once they are able to get the person to believe, that's when the deception steps in as a second phase to the person believing what the person has presented to them, or what's being exposed to them. That's when the deception plays in, and then the con artist works on achieving the art of conning you continuously, as long as that lie can live, or whatever it is that's presented to you on the surface. Okay, until they are actually exposed. Okay, so the con artists always have to get people to believe his or her lie. Okay, and that goes down to people that are pathological liars. These people fall under the prey of being con artists, deceiving people, because at the end of the day, they end up believing their own lie. They end up believing their own lie to the point where, as like I said, you can't even tell real from fake or fake from real with these people. Okay, so moving along to the art of being a con man or woman is more thrilling than the actual control of a person through deception. Like I said, yes, that is so true. A con artist don't like the thrill of conning you. They like the thrill of being in control of the lie or whatever it is that they could present to you, to reap the benefit of your belief, or whatever the case might be, or you being gullible and vulnerable, or a victim of their trickery. Okay, they get the thrill out of that, not so much of controlling the control over you, because at the end of the day, the minute you find out their lie, they know that the reversal of the thrill gonna always decline. Okay, so they know that, so it's more or less the control the lie that they have that's presented to you that you believe in. The deception. That's what they get the thrill of behind them, hiding behind the screen mask. Okay, that's what they get the thrill over. Okay, how some people say wolves in sheep clothing, or sometimes, the smoke screen, or whatever the case might be, they hide behind, those things, because they don't never want to surface or bring things into, on the surface level. Okay, so this is on a very small, minute level of what a master manipulator are. They will master the art of manipulating people, okay, down to the point of trickery, deception, or just, presenting a lie and you believing in a lie. And at the end of the day, these are usury. They use people and don't give anything back in return. They will basically, they will leave you feeling empty after a while, or leave you feeling drained after a while, when these people are, manipulators, okay? And like I said, they know how to get things out of people. They know how to say the right things when they need to be said, or they know how to tell people what they want to hear and things like that. And you have to be very careful of that. Okay, especially those who may have low self-esteem, or those who are weak-minded, and for those who, don't really have no sense of direction in life, or feel that they don't have no purpose. You have to be very careful of these types of people, okay? Because if you don't be in control of your life, somebody else is going to control your life. Whether you are conscious of it or unconscious of it, your life, someone is going to take control of it, okay? So now, moving along to understanding that, understanding master manipulators on a in-depth level. Okay, so you got to understand that they are destructive by nature, and that includes self-destructive as well. Because, like I said, you will have these people pretending to be something that they are not, one, and that's the first self-destruction of self. Because if you cannot be who you are, and you got to pretend to be something that you are not, only you got to live with you at the end of the day. You know the truth at the end of the day. You may tell everybody else a lie, you may fool everybody else, but at the end of the day, the only thing that can beat the con and the artist is the Most High Amen. And over time will tell over time the bring the truth to that person's lie in particular. Okay, and that's judgment. That's Amen's judgment at the end of the day. Okay, so that's the first destruction that they cause within themselves, pretending to be something that they are not, and trying to, put on a front or a facade to other people that this is what they are when they really not. Going back to the wolf in sheep clothing. Okay, and then usually these people mindset is usually to divide and conquer the minds of the weak, and sometimes strong through deception, as I said before. And what I mean by that, by how master manipulators try to divide and conquer, is because you got these people that are into gossip. You got these types of people that will go whisper in one person's ear, telling them one thing, and then go whisper in the next other person's ear, tell them another thing, and they causing confusion right then and there, and they might destroy a friendship in particular. So that's dividing two people to no longer be friends because of one person gossiping and causing problems and chaos and confusion. Okay, this is what can actually happen. So that's how what I mean in terms of divide and conquer. Another thing could be you can have, a sisterhood going on, and you have this one man that likes to hit on all the women, whatever the case might be, and he's telling one woman one thing and telling another woman another thing, making her think she feels special, making having this, causing this chaos and confusion, and then is destroying a sisterhood within that, the sisters being together, whatever the case might be because of this guy in particular causing chaos and confusion amongst those sisters. Okay, whispering in their ear, telling them things that they think that they want to hear. That goes back to manipulation. Okay, so I'm just giving little examples of how master manipulators try to, destroy or cause chaos and confusion, divide and conquer people in particular, as sometimes that is their agenda, if it's not something that they want out of you. Okay, if they want something out of you, they are going to use you until you cannot be used no more. Okay, like I said, these people are also pathological liars. They lie. They don't know the truth from a lie or a lie from a truth. Lying is just what they do. Okay, it has nothing to do with you, or whatever the case might be. It's the person in particular. You can't change a person. Okay, you know how they go back, how they say, and even though I know this doesn't have anything to do with the topic, but you know how they say once a cheater is always a cheater. It's true. Once a liar is always a liar, and it's to the point where one lie had to cause another lie, and it's just a series of lies. Okay, so these people live a lie, and they live their lives, based off of a lie. Okay, as a result of being a pathological liar. Okay, so they usually end up being convinced over their lie and what they think is to be true, and this is how this caused self-destruction on their part too, because then not only does that cause chaos, confusion within themselves, but that caused them to be mentally ill at the end of the day. Okay, you're not right in your mindset. If you causing yourself to believe in a lie that you know is not truthful, then you allowing yourself to be tormented in some type of way, because like I said, no one is going to escape Allah's judgment at all. So yes, a con artist do suffer at some point in time. I don't care how much they look or appear that they reaping good benefits of things or whatever the case might be. They do reap the repercussions of their decisions and the things that they do at the end of the day when no one is looking. Okay, and that's in judgment on a personal level with that person, where they are tormented. Okay, so that's real, and that's reality. Okay, and then another thing, they always looking to take, as I said before, and gain without giving anything in return. They whole motto, that's the whole motto of a con artist. They're not looking to give you nothing back in return. They looking to see how they can play on your emotions, get whatever they need to get out of you, and keep it moving. Okay, it is what it is. You got, con artists that will buy into their lie with the 80-20 mentality, meaning they will go to the extremes of producing 20% of giving to fabricate their lie. Okay, fabricate their lie, and while you may produce 80% and will take ownership of, you producing 80%, and a con artist will flip the script and make it seem as though you producing only 20%, and they will try to take ownership of your 80% that you producing, as in they making it happen. Okay, when it's really the other way around. And given a prime example of that is you have a person. Let's say you're working on a project. You have the person with the idea, and they invest in his or her idea with time and money. Okay, they the one who came up with the pioneer. They pioneered their idea and their thoughts, but they needed assistance in bringing about that idea. So they invest their time, their money in bringing about that idea and articulating it and bringing it in fruition with the assistance of someone else. Now, let's say the person with the idea gets someone to labor, produce that idea, his or her idea, and then let's say the person with the idea is usually the one that's producing the 80%. And the only reason why I say that the person is producing the 80% is because they come up with the idea. They come up with the idea of something that may not have been thought of. Okay, and they just need assistance on bringing that about into, the future. Now, the person that's just laboring and helping and assisting that person is only doing 20%. But then if you got that person trying to take ownership of another person's idea, or trying to say, oh, they came up with this thought first because they did the labor, then that's a form of manipulation, excuse me. Okay, and this is what manipulators do. Okay, so this is something to be mindful of. Okay, they give very little but expect a lot from others. This is the whole 80-20 rule with the con artists. Okay, and then they are master manipulators. They master the mind of the weak and simple-minded. That's who they prey on. If they feel that you are an easy target, you just go about believing things and you don't question anything, and you just, going along with the flow, you are an easy a target for a master manipulator. Okay? And the only reason why I say master manipulator is because they go through life doing this for years and years and years, that they master the art of being a con artist. And sometimes they don't lose no sleep over it. But at the end of the day, sometimes, like I said, their judgment comes flooding on them to where sometimes things won't go running right with them, or they'll hit a hard time in life, whatever the case might be, as a result, like I said, decisions that they chose to make, or the people who they felt they got over, or whatever the case might be. So these are the things that actually take place in what happens. Okay, so now moving along to master manipulators' weakness. Okay, what are the weak points of a master manipulator? I know you all want to know that on tonight, and I'm going to tell y'all what are the weak points of a master manipulator. Okay, with the exception that y'all can also come up with your own thoughts of, epiphany, if you come, to that point of me explaining it, and you listening to what I'm saying, you come up with other, ideas, that's fine. But one of they weak points is false pride and ego. Okay, I don't care how confident they appear, how authoritative they may appear. It's a false sense of pride and ego. They're very egotistical. Okay, a mastermind on the other hand, they're not like that. Okay, a person that's a mastermind, they are very confident within themselves, internally and externally. Okay, and they're not egotistical about anything, because at the end of the day, think about it, they the ones that are the housers of ideas, and they able to produce those ideas. So why would they operate on false pride or false ego, or whatever the case might be? Okay, so this is what I want all my listeners to pay attention to. Okay, and then another thing, they never take accountability for the con that they present or that they do. They never take accountability for it at all. Okay, because they'll feel like that was just a part of their life, or a part of the act of what they're supposed to do, and it is what it is. And it's down to the point where you even come out exposing them, and you got facts behind the exposure, whatever the case might be. At the end of the day, they won't take accountability for that at all. Okay, and then moving along to the fact of how they will always seek to get over on others through empathy. Like I said, preying on people's emotions, preying on the weak-minded, seeing who's an easy target. Okay, this is what they do. That's their game. Okay, they don't have no real purpose in life other than to build up a false reality and get others to buy into it. Okay, they don't have no sense of purpose, and sometimes they work overtime to, take ownership of someone else's life. lifestyle because they are so accustomed to living a lie. Okay, this is what con artists do. Okay, and master manipulators are thieves of the truth and reality because they have a very subtle way of twisting lies and truth together. Okay, this is why they are thieves of the truth. Okay, and one of the things I wanted to keep in mind is that the con will never beat the artist at its game because the con and the artist has become one with reality. And what I mean by that, that's my quote that I wanted to put out there. I'm going to say it one more time. A con will never beat the artist at its game because the con and the artist has become one reality. As I've been saying throughout the whole broadcast, is that you got con artists that start to believe their own lie. Going back to following the steps of becoming a pathological liar. They start to believe those things. If they had to take a lie detector test, they will actually pass it because they believe their lie. Okay? That will actually happen. And that's facts. That's truth. Truthful. Okay? And this is why this will happen. They believe in their own lie and they try to convince others to believe the same. And they can't really tell the truth from the lie at some point in time in their life. Okay? And whatever punishment or suffering that they're going through, they feel that they deserve it. It's sickening and it's twisted, but they feel that they deserve the type of punishment that they get at the end of the day as a result of, what they doing or continue to do. Okay? And then like I said, I've been saying before, they prey on the emotionally weak. Okay, now another thing that I wanted to present, as I said in the very beginning of the show, is that with con artists, the only thing that can beat them at their game is time, and Amon's judgment can beat a con artist at their own game. You know how there's always a saying. In particular, I know my mom used to always tell me this. Whatever a person do in the dark will always come to light. And that's through time. Over time, the truth is going to be exposed. No matter however way they try to hide it. No matter however way they try to conceal it. Amon's judgment is going to be so harsh on a person to where all things will come into revelation. And that's facts along with it being truthful. Okay? So, with that being said, the broadcast has come to a close, and I want to thank you all for taking the time out for listening. I hope y'all was able to think on, the difference between masterminds and master manipulators, and really thinking in depth, get you going, get you thinking about, the difference between the two. And I hope that you was able to come to your own conclusion at the end of the day of this show, this talk show. Okay, so like I said, thank you for taking the time out listening. And for those who are part of the Republic of MENTELLECT, Mizek Aminun, to all of the Mentellians, the Enrus and Enras of the Republic of MENTELLECT. So with that being said, you all have a good night.
It's the Republic of MENTELLECT, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of MENTELLECT, black race to the white race. If it's hell, then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capabilities that we can do.